XRP The Great Rotation is the title of today's update, and we're going to talk about front running what is going to be one of the largest rotations into digital assets we've ever seen. And we just saw trillions getting wiped out from our metals and the equity markets this morning, including a dump in crypto right as we're passing crypto legislation with the Senate Ag Committee moving and advancing the Clarity Act. But just like it wasn't popular, sexy, or exciting, it was actually hated. We're talking about silver, we're talking about gold over the past decade. We're going through a period right now where cryptocurrency is hated. It's boring. It's not sexy. And we are struggling to make it through about a 12-month period. Meanwhile, in silver, they were stacking that thing for 12 years before they had their moment and the rotation came into the metals. And so in today's update, we're going to break this down. Just like we're watching trillions getting wiped out from the metals and equities right now, you're going to see hundreds of billions and trillions rotate into digital assets. And I want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this opportunity. We are going to front run the hell out of this move before it comes, and we're going to be rewarded later in 2026 and over the next few years as they roll out this new financial system into 2030 and beyond. So let's get right on into the update, folks. This was unprecedented this morning. We have gold down 8.2%. It wiped out $3 trillion from its market cap. That's the entire market cap of crypto wiped out from gold in about 10 minutes. Silver dumped 12%, 760 billion. S&P 500 wiped out 780 billion, and the Nasdaq crashed 2.5%, down 760 billion. Literally trillions wiped out from metals and equities this morning. Now, my question is, what was the catalyst, right? Did the market makers get the signal that we're striking Iran? The government shutdown odds are dropping after it appears that Senator Schumer is going to come and do the DC dance, do a little deal, and it looks like now we're going to avoid the government shutdown again. Those odds had spiked over the weekend after the situation in Minneapolis, and then they were going to vote to defund and ICE and Homeland Security, and now Schumer's coming back to the table. It looks like government shutdown's not going to happen. But the situation in Iran, we're getting unconfirmed reports here. Russia just put out a statement basically admitting that something big went down or is about to go down. Quote, "We hope that the United States and Israel will preserve the security of the Bushehr nuclear power plant." No direct mention of attacks, but coming right after reports of massive Israeli-U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. This is Moscow quietly confirming the hits while trying to de-escalate. So this is from Mario Nafal. The source here is Russian MFA via Daily Iran News. I'm not seeing any confirmed reports yet, but it looks like this is, really the only catalyst that could be pushing down the markets right now. Because I would say that this is just the market makers in crypto smacking up the crypto space while Congress is advancing the Crypto Clarity Act. But it wasn't just crypto that dumped this morning. It was everything. It was metals, it was equities, and crypto. But while this is all taking place, the Senate Agricultural Committee has just passed its portion of the Clarity Act out of committee on a 12-11 party line vote with no Democrats in favor of this bill. No Democrat support, but thankfully we had 12 Republicans that were able to advance this. Now the next steps is the Senate Banking Committee. Senate Banking Committee already had their markup scheduled for January 15th. They canceled. So now we need Senate Banking Committee to get off their butts and to get this markup scheduled so that they can pass it in their committee, right? The Senate Ag Committee's passing the version of the bill in the parts that give jurisdiction to the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. The Senate Banking Committee is going to pass their version of the bill and focus on the jurisdiction of the SEC and the banking regulators as well. Once it passes out of Senate banking, then it can move to a full Senate vote, and we can actually, move this legislation forward. Remember, the House has already passed, so it's in the Senate right now. We needed the Senate Ag to pass. They did. Now we need Senate banking to pass. When are they going to wake up and get off their butts? Who knows? Government shutdown's not going to help this situation if that does end up happening. Okay. But after it passes out of Senate banking, then it can move to a full Senate vote. Once that's done, then they have to reconcile with the House version of the bill. They got to make sure that they're passing the same version. And then it can finally go to President Trump's desk. So this Clarity Act is still not going to pass for a couple months at best, but we'll be watching it closely here. Now, take a look at these charts, guys. This just got smacked up this morning, but we already are seeing a strong bounce. And so gold, after running up to 5,600 yesterday, coming back down here, getting absolutely smacked up to 5,100. Already back up to 5,300 this morning. Silver, look at these red candles. This is on the 15-minute charts that we're watching this right now. Moving on over, I am pleasantly surprised and happy to see how well Canton's holding up. This is back above 17 cents right now as I record this update. Very happy with how my Canton is doing. And if you guys are wondering where to buy Canton, I also just picked up some more Zebek this morning. I'd already placed an order on Caleb and Brown, and I got the email notification this morning that my broker had executed that order. And so I picked up more Zebek this morning. I picked up a big bag of Canton on Caleb and Brown as well. And so that's linked up down below. Remember, you get free institutional grade custody and your own personalized broker. So instead of trading and investing in crypto like a retail investor, you can start investing like an institutional client and get that level of custody, get that level of service. And that's all provided at Caleb and Brown, linked up down below. Absolutely free to set up an account. And they will get you taken care of. White glove service. Love their service. So XRP got smacked up down to $1.78 this morning. Strong bounce back up to $1.84 as I record this update. But we have a lot of charts and scenarios that could take this thing down to the $1.65 range. That's where I would look to front run. I've already canceled my order that I had at $1.66 to buy and add to my XRP long position. I'm just being honest and upfront with you guys about what I'm doing. I canceled that order and I bought at $1.88. That was last week. And so I'm just dollar cost averaging into these assets, these good utility digital assets, while they trade below their fundamental value. I'm not going to try to time the bottom of this perfectly. And if you do, just be aware that you're probably not going to, right? These markets are very tough to time. And that's why we dollar cost average. So you can try your best to time this thing and pull a fib, pull a this, pull a that. The fractal that blockchain backer showing still shows us going down to $1. I don't see that playing out. And I'm not going to get greedy here. I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm not going to overcomplicate this process. I'm just going to take buying opportunities as they present themselves. We have one in front of us here. And so I bought at $1.88, and I'll be looking to buy if we dip below $1.70. I'd be looking to front run that $1.65 level again. Like I said, I'd already placed an order at $1.66, and I may go back in and place another order right at that level again. But like I said, if you don't get your orders placed, they're not going to be filled. It's exactly why my order on Zebek got filled this morning, is because I'd already told my broker at Caleb and Brown, I'd already placed the order, and then you just let them execute. And then you wake up to an email that you had bought the dip. This is why we partner up with brokers like that. But let's talk about this great rotation, right? As I titled today's update, the great rotation back into digital assets and new money coming into digital assets. As quantitative easing comes, as lower interest rates come, as the business cycle goes back into expansion, and as 401k retirement funds get access, this all leads to the great rotation. So let's start with interest rates. We have statements this morning from President Trump. We should be paying the lowest interest rate of any country in the world. They're showing you, right? They were asked just a few days ago about the dollar crashing, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and President Trump both say the same thing. Dollar's doing great. They're telling you that they don't care about the DXY and that dollar index coming down. That's what they want, because we have a lot of debt to pay back, which is exactly what he's talking about and why he wants interest rates to come down. So you could fight this. You could be offended because it's coming from President Trump and wonder later why you missed the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, or you can front run this opportunity. You can front run this great rotation. Rates are going to be absolutely smacked and brought back down, just like the market got smacked up today. Are you prepared for that? Quantitative easing is going to come back. Are you prepared for that? The business cycle is going to go back into expansion. Are you prepared for that? And they're about to open up 401k and retirement funds for cryptocurrencies. Are you prepared for that? Now, before I get to the 401k opportunity, Frank Chaparro points out Bank of America is gate crashing stablecoins, now hiring a principal engineer to define and lead its stablecoin solutions. And you're bearish, Anon. You're bearish right now while Morgan Stanley's hiring out whole teams for crypto. You're bearish right now while Bank of America, they're making sure that they stop yield on stablecoins in the legislation in the Clarity Act while they hire their engineers to provide and build out their stablecoin program. Don't you get it? They're putting it out right there in front of you for you to see. Are you going to take advantage of it? That's my question. And you don't have to wait. SEC Chair Paul Atkins says now is the right time to open up the $12.5 trillion 401k retirement market to crypto. Let's run the clip.
How do you think about crypto versus any other kind of investment for the average American family out there?
Well, Andrew, a lot of people are already exposed to crypto and other sorts of assets like that through their pension funds, and because they're managed by professional managers in those pension funds. So we're talking about the 401ks now, where we have to do things with respect to the different markets very carefully. We're focused right now on private securities, private equity funds, and things like that, where again, a lot of people are already exposed to those in their managed pension funds, and so we're looking to allow people to have access to those through their 401k, through the professional management of the what is allowed into their funds, their trustees that are looking after those funds. But right. I think the time is ripe to go forward with that.
I think the time is right not to wait anymore, to stop taking terrible financial advice from that advisor that's managing your retirement funds. I think the time is now to make your move and to front run this great rotation. I would not wait another second. These financial advisors just gave you the 60-40 portfolio that just had its third worst year ever in history. These financial advisors told you to have no exposure to crypto until they had an ETF ready to sell you. It's dishonest. It's disgusting. The more I learn about the financial services industry, it makes me sick. And that's why I do what I do every single day, to put the opportunities and to put this analysis and to educate you, the average person, who can now take advantage of the opportunity here, that can front run this great rotation before the interest rates drop back down, before quantitative easing happens, before the banks hire out their whole crypto teams and roll out a product for you. You don't need the banks. You don't need that financial advisor. You can act now. And that's why I partnered up with iTrust Capital. We have them linked up down below. You can roll over that 401k. If you already have an IRA, you can move it to iTrust Capital. They will help you get exposure to precious metals and crypto today. Front run that $12.5 trillion market opened up to cryptocurrency. Don't wait a second. Make it happen now. And use my link down below to get a $100 funding bonus. That's right, folks. And not only do they have the IRA product, they also have the premium custody account. So if you're looking to take advantage of free institutional grade custody, US-based customer support, whether it be in your IRA retirement account, you can roll over that 401k today, or the premium custody account. They have both products ready and available. Super happy to be partnered up with them because I'm not waiting. And the reason why I'm so aggressive here in today's update is because I love investing in what's hated. I love investing in what's boring and what's getting beat up. And when I see folks commenting down below, and this is the data points that I get, and I try to share them with you. I read through all of your comments on my YouTube. I read through all of my notifications and comments on Twitter, for better or for worse. And what the feedback I'm getting right now is folks are telling, I'm going to wait to buy XRP, and I'm going to go buy gold and silver, which is fine. I love gold and silver too. But that tells me that the retail masses are being trained to look over here at gold and silver, are being told to wait for the opportunity to invest. Your financial advisor's telling you to wait till they have their products ready to sell you cryptocurrency, instead of taking advantage of these opportunities now. Instead of buying today, setting up a buy order to buy if we get a dip down to $1.70, placing a buy order down to $1.60, $1.50 if they really smack this thing up. I will be buying XRP all the way back down to $1. God bless that opportunity. If they give us $1 XRP again, I don't think it's going to come, but I'm just being upfront with you guys about how I feel about these markets and the great rotation that's coming back into digital assets, why I am front running the heck out of this thing with a sense of urgency, because it's going to come so quickly. We are watching trillions move in and out of these assets in minutes. And so I would not wait another day. I'm not going to try to time this market perfectly. I don't need to time this market perfectly. We're going to make so much money just on the margin. I don't need to buy the absolute bottom. I don't need to sell the absolute top to make life-changing wealth and to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And I want you guys to join me on this journey. All of our community resources are available at ZachRector.com. If you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and we will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all.
I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.